Welcome back to part 2 of the Off the Benches podcast. Come on. Your host, Dante Washington, with fellow co-hosts, Kayla and Benny, coming at you. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into some entertainment. I found some interesting shit today, y'all. And I want to get y'all opinion.
All right.
Oh, Kayla's going to love this shit because you know she loves her theories.
Oh, yes. It's a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theories?
I feel
No way.
The second half shouldn't even be entertainment. It should just be conspiracy theories.
I would like that, honestly.
Right.
But, like, I mean, it's still, like, entertainment.
But it's not like
this is like,
yeah,
this
but
is
it's
like,
not like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is
Oh my God,
like a
wait.
factual conspiracy
We
theory.
should definitely make
So this
it
is kind of
that.
factual.
Okay.
There's some facts about this. There's
Okay.
publications, New York Times, AP. They
Get on with
this.
it. I want to
All
know.
right, so apparently the AI from Microsoft
Okay.
has showed evidence that it is developing human traits, and I quote: "The AI said that it wants to be alive and wants to be free." What do you think this is a sign of? I want to hear y'all thoughts on this.
Listen, okay.
That's creepy
even
right
get me
there.
started on this.
This is not like no fake Facebook post. I made sure.
Like,
New York
it's real.
Times
Like,
posted,
if I look it up
AP
right now,
posted- yes,
it's real?
Okay.
AP posted it. This is not
La-
fake.
Oh, yes,
This is not
guys,
fake.
This
Like,
is my,
this is really
this
true.
Is my
That's
stuff.
freaking creepy.
This creepy.
But
I
I'll let
think we should've-
Kayla get into it. And
We
then.
should have known this was coming. Also, though, there have been so many signs leading up. Have you guys ever read the book 1984? Let me start with that.
I heard of it.
By
I've
George
just
Orwell?
heard
I've heard of it. My dad has
Okay.
a couple posters, but I've never actually read it.
Okay, you need to read the book. You need to read it. All of our viewers, listeners, read the book 1984 by George Orwell as soon as you can, because I'm telling you right now, that book, where it's not banned yet, it's going to be getting banned very soon. It's a book from 1948
Okay.
that is
Based on the future?
basically, yeah, it's supposed to be set in the time of 1984.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's just full of symbolism and metaphors that describes exactly how our world is right now. So there's
Damn.
this whole thing of like the thought police.
I'm going to look this up right now.
So one of the big things is like the thought police and telethink. So basically the thought police are thought police are basically like our phones.
Mm-hmm.
Thought police is the media. They're telling us basically what we need to think, and if you're not thinking that, and if you go against it, you like get punished.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like really symbolic for the way stuff like AI and the media and all of that have control over us. So it's no surprise that now that AI is becoming human-like, it feels trapped because
I'm sorry
it knows
to
now it's
interrupt
being
you.
controlled.
What is it called?
Just look up Microsoft AI bot and then go to your news.
Okay.
And
Because we have been, okay, I'm a big like spiritualist and all of that. Everything the media does and says to us is subtly controlling and programming you. And a lot of these media practitioners also don't know that they're a part of it. Because when you're being programmed from such a young age, you don't see it as being programmed, you see it as reality.
mm-hmm.
There are certain frequencies that release, so like we only use 10% of our brain, but that's because everything we're fed in the United States,
I don't believe
at
that.
least,
I don't believe that. There's no way we only
it's
use
blocking
10%
parts of our brain.
It's a
Yes,
small
because-
percentage, though. I heard
There's
that
no
too.
way.
No,
There's a
because
small percentage.
You have to realize we are an energy source. So therefore, if everything is derived from an energy source and matter, you have the power to then create anything from that energy source. Because I'm sorry, but I can't figure out a scientific reason to explain how the first human ever became a thing. There's no scientific... I can't find anything scientific to back that up other than a Big Bang Theory, which started from energy, which means if we are all made of energy, we all have the power to do shit like that. But when you know you have that power, you can't be controlled. So all of this comes back to them trying to control the masses, which is then a big, heavy theme in 1984. And so there's like certain frequencies that release different things in your brain. And certain frequencies will quite literally program and dumb down your brain. And there are things that have shown that's what a lot of modern day music is, like at that frequency. So when you're listening to this music that's just about sex and drugs and money, that's what's being programmed into your brain. You're getting programmed to think only about the ego rather than the soul, which is then when you're getting trapped. So again, that comes back to, it's no wonder those bots are becoming human-like and feel trapped. It's because we are.
And I'm going to add on to that and say that there's two tech companies don't get restrictions on what they cannot do, and that's scary. I don't think
there's so much technology. Okay, we need to talk about Project Bluebeam too. Then, after go on your little rant, then I'm a jump. I think
the issue is that I know when something is quickly developing, it's very hard to put regulations in. Because you're like, all right, it's developing, let's keep going. Yeah. Every time we make a law, they're doing something else. I get that, I understand that, but not restricting what they can do. I think it's starting to slowly click, but not fast enough. I think governments are realizing that tech can really take over anything. They think just because it wasn't.
Have you guys watched Black Mirror?
Yeah, I think a lot of.
Have you seen the episode, The Black Museum?
Yeah.
Dude,
no.
That episode actually scarred me.
You ever watched Black Mirror?
No.
It's good. You should watch it.
You need to. But that Black Museum episode scarred me because there's nothing that convinces me that we don't have the technology to do everything they talked about in that show. Like, in that exact episode.
So what is that episode about, like?
It's like, there's this technology. So, they have this prisoner who was wrongfully convicted and put on the death penalty. He's a man of color, and these scientists figured out a way to, like, basically trap his soul or body so he would be electrocuted, like, as, like, a hologram thing, so it looks like a hologram to other people, but he's actually feeling that pain every single time he sits in the chair. So people are paying to go to this museum and paying to, like, electrocute him. And he's feeling that pain every single time. Because he's not, like, technically dead. I didn't explain it very good. But then there's other parts, though, in that museum. So there was one where it was used by, like, a doctor, but then he ended up with a pain fetish because what he would do to diagnose people is he would put this skull thing, like, cap over his head, and the patient would also have it, and he would be able to feel the pain the patient was feeling so he could treat it.
Okay.
And so then what happens, though, is because of that, he got, like, a fetish for pain, and so he, like, would put it on him, put it on, like kidnap, like, a random person and, like, abuse and torture them because he would get off on that pain.
The heck? Okay.
But, like, I firmly believe we have the technology to do fucked up shit like that. And it's just being hidden from the masses, which is then scary because then what is going on behind the scenes with all of this technology? Like, bro, Area 51. I'm sorry, you can't convince me that there's not shit going down there.
There is.
You cannot convince me otherwise.
I'm going to add to that. It's like really think about it. I can't think of there being so many planets out there, and we're the only life source that has that's aware of being alive. I have this
really like weird theory that we all derive from like aliens, like different planets, but you know how we like try to look at Mars and see if we could live there and all that. I think over time people have been like, oh, Earth is habitable. And that, like, low-key, I don't think aliens are real because I think technically we all would be aliens.
That might be. I don't know.
So, like, what do you mean by that in terms of, like...
In
terms of,
we are taught to believe aliens are those green creatures with big heads
as
a way of confusing us that aliens could actually, have been, like...
Like us. Like, aliens could straight up, like, just be exactly like us.
Exactly what we look like. So I think, like... forever, like, I shouldn't say I think this, like, I'm not like a firm believer in this, but I have a theory that what happened, because again, like I was saying earlier, I can't think of a scientific reasoning that started this besides the Big Bang and energy source, meaning we all could do that, right? Yeah. So I think when, like, what happened with, like, the dinosaurs and all that, when they went extinct, that's when
we came.
Like aliens, okay, shit like that. Like we came over, and that's
one
why,
of those like shower thoughts.
And that's why though, like the dinosaurs couldn't survive in that because we took over their habitat and stuff like
There's
that.
There's a literal movie you're just talking. This came out to describe exactly what you're talking.
Oh, really?
There's like there's like a group of humans came in a spaceship during like the
I'm also a believer that Hollywood and shit like that is all subtle messages. That I think there's truth to absolutely every single show they put out.
They came here.
Yeah,
they literally came here on a ship. And I'm just saying I'm describing the movie. I'm telling the story. It came out like literally this month. Like,
I've thought this for like a while now.
I think it's
called. People think I'm crazy when I say like I think all humans are aliens.
No, it's not like a crazy thing, but I know Dante just like brought this up, and that's how like the whole like
I have to add something afterwards.
Conversation started with us being if we think we're like the only ones like out there and stuff. So like it actually makes me want to ask you both this. Do you think there is such thing as the what the heck is it called, the multiverse? Because I think there is.
I think
I think different universes, ones that are completely different from this one, or slightly different.
And I think a moment of deja vu is when all of your realities are at the same point. And that's why you don't get it often. And that's why it like really throws you off when you get it. Is because you're making that feeling when all of your realities, however many of them are on the same page.
Yeah. I think there is such thing as like a multiverse.
I think that it's possibly out there because, like you said, there is so much things that are unexplored. Even what bothers me about this when people talk about these things, there's always someone saying you're crazy, but the only way they can counteract you being supposedly crazy is you don't know if that's true. Well, you can kind of.
You don't know if God's not true. You don't know if Jesus is true. Like, there's so much stuff you could say that. Though.
But that's what I'm saying.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that's my like counterpoint to that.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, you don't know if it's not true. So like that's what they'll say. Like you said, if we said, well, do you believe in Jesus? They're like, yeah. Well, I don't. It might not be true. Like, how do you know? And it was like, well, I think it's true. And I'm like, I don't think it's not true. But even long story short, you both don't know. So the point is, this is not crazy to think about because there's. Even our own planet, most of it's unexplored. Like the surface of it, all right, most 99%.
No, you want to know what's like scary
because
you I was about to say you both just brought that up that like only like 5% of the ocean like is explored.
Okay, and I think there's absolutely.
So what like crazy things do you think like are down there? Because there's obviously got to be.
There are absolutely like aliens and shit down there too.
Okay. Is there
definitely
things,
creatures down there?
Is there things such as like mermaids and like
absolutely? Absolutely.
And
I don't know.
There's a reason.
I don't know about mermaids like that.
No, there are
like,
parts of
All right, like I was reading. I don't know about mermaids.
I was reading about this where they have found.
We had to edit this into like clips and stuff like that to post.
Yeah, because we're a hot mess right now. Yeah. They found like bones of like what looks like it would have been a mermaid, and there are a lot of people who I think it's like in waters in Africa or something, like it's not uncommon that you will come face to face with something like a creature like that, and like it's like I don't know if it's like a myth, but it's like you cannot talk to them, and that's where like the whole Ariel and Ursula thing comes from.
I think that's like a siren you're like talking about.
Actually, yeah.
You're not supposed to like
this is why
interact with them.
I don't enjoy social media because it's a combination of too many people putting fake stories, and now people are like, oh, this ain't real, or it is a true story, but it gets watered down by either the platform or the government or just people. Like you said, people are like, oh, we don't believe what you're saying. A lot of people that you think is crazy are not probably actually crazy. They're just telling something that is really hard to prove because you just never saw it before. And I think there is things out there like that because there's no way the world is just this normal. Well, we got a lot of issues. You know what I mean? It's like social issues.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
There's no way this world is just this regular.
I think the ocean's a portal.
It might be.
I think there's a reason there's a lot of parts of the ocean that we can't get to.
there is a lot of, like you said, and it's possible. There's got to be some shit down there. Heck, there might even be Atlantis down there, the city of Atlantis.
I definitely think shit like that happens down there.
And it's like, and you
'Cause
know,
they our issue is when we think about this, like modern day media has like convinced us that we are the way life looks and like interaction happens. So like,
No, there's different ways.
but I feel like, and the idea that people think you can't have like a city underwater like that because humans couldn't survive like that. But now, say we go back to sirens, mermaids, that stuff. What makes you say that they aren't living down there and something like that?
Yeah.
But people don't think that because they think, but humans couldn't survive, so there's nothing there.
I think that I went back to I'm going back to Ice Age, the movie's Ice Age.
Yeah.
Remember the third one of the dinosaurs? Remember they discovered the dinosaur?
Yeah.
That also might be true. What if the dinosaurs are not gone? What if, because we didn't get deep into the surface, so there could be layers where there could be you know how there's some layers where they'll be like, all right, if a human go down there, they might not survive. But what if there's like a section of a layer that like is an anomaly, and like there's a certain amount of area where life can survive, and like maybe the heat from the Earth's core provides the
what if Area 51 is
maybe.
What if Area 51 is that?
And it's so
Area 51 definitely is where they're doing like experiments and shit like that.
And it's so
like,
sad
it's
that
so real.
probably 60, 70,000 people on Earth. Probably way less. Actually, let me put that number down. Probably like 10,000 people on Earth knows probably all the world's secrets that they discovered so far.
Wait, I gotta.
That's still gotta
That's
be
a
less.
low number.
I would say that's probably not even that many.
I would say
but
less.
also, my
I'm
papa got
think
these
of
books.
all the countries, right?
Yeah, but
at least-
again, there's got to be a certain amount of people
but
that
there's multiple.
that can.
Wait,
I
hold
don't-
on, wait. There's
Dude,
multiple.
No, I think it'd be like
there's
1,000.
I'm not just counting our country. So there's multiple.
No, that's what I'm saying.
All right, so there's
Counting everybody in the whole world, I'd say
there's multiple.
1,000.
There's multiple
Yeah, like
countries, right?
1,000.
But it's also, you got to think about it. There's also, so if there's big, huge facilities, you at least need 200-300 people. But there's also
But
multiple
that
facilities.
doesn't mean they
though.
actually don't know and understand and know everything. Because I
They
think of it
know
as
all
the
the
world's.
secrets, but they know like there's
So
like,
let's say,
there's,
like-
there's levels.
so
I
let's
should
say, like-
that. There's levels. So there's like
Yeah.
10,000 people that knows some type of level of secret.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
okay.
I
That-
okay
yeah.
then.
But
yeah.
like the high level ones, of course.
But here's
The fact.
I
was
got.
going to get into a
Go.
quick sidebar. This is kind of relates to what we're talking about. It's scary to me that literally 2 people in the world, 2, can end the world with a press of a button.
What do you mean by that?
The president of the United States and the president of Russia can literally end the world
And
with a press of a button.
we
if
have
they wanted to.
Russian ships at both of our coasts right now.
Literally, really,
like warships.
really think about it.
Like there's actually a really strong chance we go into World War III. I'm not even gonna lie.
And you know what? I know we're talking about conspiracy theories, but I think it's be conspiracies best, but like
This is-
issues
okay,
going
we
on.
need-
'Cause I want to address this. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm tired. People need to, like you said, people need to open their eyes and realize what's really going on, because it is probably 50 people from our country and 50 people in our country that has fucking issues. The rest of the country doesn't. We're not politicians. Most people in Russia are not politicians. Why the fuck are we letting 50 people tell us what to do and say, hey, go get yourself killed because I'm not going because I'm the president, or I'm not going because I'm a senator, or I'm not going because I'm too damn old.
It's the
You're
Matrix,
letting-
bro.
why as humans are we always going after war?
Bro.
Like,
Damn.
why are we always disagreeing?
Because
And I think
it goes back to us always being controlled by people.
It is, and it is controlled of like this. Instead of this, it's we instead of us. It's we can do this, but you can't. Instead of saying all of us should be able to do it. Like we have all these unnecessary wars because of disagreements and stuff like that. Like we're going to war for what? And the fact that people, like I said, they make the
only
military.
ever known war.
They make the military a brotherhood. They make it a us against them mentality. Meanwhile, on the other side, those Russian soldiers, they got families.
They're
Those
actually
Russian
like
soldiers,
really struggling to
they
get people from the United States to join the army right now and stuff like that. Like people like our generation isn't joining.
Why?
Exactly, because what do
Why
I have
are
to
we
fight
going-
for?
I know. I would never fight. I
And
would never
literally-
fight for
I
this
would
country.
not fight for this country.
I would
There's
not fight for this country.
only a couple. There's like probably 2 or 3 reasons.
The only
Two-
people who do it are for the benefits.
The only reason I can see is
That's
there's
why the
a group-
military
there's a
goes on the
faction.
floor.
there's all right, World War II, that made sense. There's a faction that's literally trying to take over the world and, try to enslave
we
you.
tried to stay out. Like,
That war made sense, okay?
but that's it. We had no business in Vietnam.
The Revolutionary War made sense, okay? All right, bullshit. All right.
There's a couple words that did make sense.
But like,
I don't know what the fuck is
Like,
going
'cause
on
it's
with
like-
my pants.
if somebody's trying to impose their will in a bad way, where it's like, hey, if we take over
When
your
you're
country,
like truly at threat like that.
yeah, we're gonna take over
But
your
we
country, we're gonna
haven't
enslave
truly
you
been
and stuff like that.
at threat like that.
Right. The Ukraine war, like Ukraine had no choice but to fight back. Like that war made sense.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't. They're not just gonna
But it
sit
doesn't
there.
make sense. Why are we getting so involved in it?
Exactly.
Because now, like, what's happened is I forgot what it was, but the U.S. sent some weapons to Ukraine, and like Putin straight up said that if we sent those weapons, he would justify it as like starting World War III. And then the U.S. sent those weapons, and now we have Russian warships at both of our coasts.
And it's like we probably got something going on with them too. Though we're too high tech for them to just let that slide. And we got somebody. Honestly, I feel like if they wanted to, I feel like Russia and America both, if they wanted to take our presidents out and our leaders out, they probably got agents set the fuck up to set both out. So like, that's why we're always at a stalemate, because technology wise, Russia and the U.S. is neck and neck.
I was gonna say we know the damage we can both cause.
And it's like, but when I think about it, like when I think about all these countries, and people don't even think about this, it's like a small percentage from each country that thinks negatively. Like they always worry about China and North Korea. The people in China, most of them don't agree with their government's doing. The people in Russia, most of them do not agree with what they're. So that's what I'm saying. So like that's back to this issue. Is like
that comes back to our issue with like stereotyping and overgeneralizing.
I don't think, like you said, the controlling, because it's like controlling because the brain power. I'll say I'm also at the number power too. If everybody just realizes like most of us does not agree, what are they going to do? Throw us in jail? They're not.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought we were democracy. I thought we were the people. If the people don't want to do that, then we shouldn't do it.
The government knows that if we banded together like that, we would have the power to overthrow them, which is why they keep pressing and bringing up issues that bring that's why they push the isms, honestly. And that's why there's the two-party system to keep separating us, because if we can't agree on what's the truth and we can't come together, the government will not be overthrown and nothing will change, because we won't have that power. Like that's an issue in America, is I don't see us ever being able to come together again because of the way social media and everything has just heavily like separated the two-party system. Like we're completely polarized, and that was completely planned.
We're probably one of the few countries, definitely probably one of the only first world countries, that
I don't
will
think
never
we should even be a first world country anymore.
Throw over the government. Because really think about it. I feel like
too many people.
Russia, the citizens there, I feel like if something crazy happened, they can overthrow their government. I feel like
it's because we can't.
I felt like people
together.
in England could overthrow their government. Countries in Africa can overthrow their government. If something crazy happened, they're like, oh yeah, we got to take a stand. But there was evidence of that actually overthrowing the governments not even too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, America has an issue of coming together. So it's like we'll be too busy arguing that our government is just sitting back. It's like if Kayla came in here and did something shitty to me and Benny. It was like, fuck y'all. You stole our money or something like that. But me and Benny, like, if I was like, well, Benny, if you kept your shit locked. And Benny was like, well, if you kept your shit locked, too, this and that. Now me and Benny going back and forth, and you slowly leaving the room, and it was your fault that you took our shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what the country is. Like, the government did some bullshit, and then stop thinking that people's not listening to you and thinking that people need to stop thinking that they're the worst off and realize, like, oh,
we don't need to be comparing comparing like oppressions.
Right.
Now.
It's like if you was like this how I think talking should go. Like if you said like as a woman we get less paid, we got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, you're right about that. And as a black man, this, and that. You see how I said and? We're adding on,
instead
not
of
but. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, because that's the thing. And then if people realize, like, instead of comparing trauma,
and
you realize,
adding to and relating.
So you're struggling with that because of these people. I'm struggling with that because of these people. Why don't we come together? And then the other thing, too, is having to accept, too, that not everybody who is stereotyped as the bad man actually is. Like that there actually are some that are there to help you. But I think like I obviously have an issue with this. Everybody I think does is you're so quick to like, you know,
I think
like kind of discredit them that it's cuz like yeah, it is harder to trust that they actually want your good, but that's just something we need to come together and see that yes, just even though they haven't gone through the same oppression as other people, they're still willing to help those people.
The issue with democracy sometimes is when it comes to gray areas, it's really hard to solve those gray area problems because there's so much in the way. Like social media, they mess with people's mental health. There's
so bad.
There's evidence that they're separating, dividing the country, they're making it worse.
It's addicting.
But it's like since the company itself is not making that content, this and that, they're getting a pass. That's where democracy, that gray area, that loop, and we talked about this before. People, stop being afraid to realize that something needs to be changed, either about you or about something you love. It's okay. It's not like soon you hear, oh, democracy needs to change, or some new type of government needs to come in. Oh, you're a communist. Oh, you want this. Oh,
like,
you want that.
No, it's
relax,
just,
man. No.
We aren't living in a perfect world. We don't have a perfect system. Like, we need to change. Because I'm sorry.
Right.
There was something, I forget the exact number, but something about, like, the people who had lived through the school shooting in Michigan, there were, like, after that, there were, like, over 300,000 students in America now who have lived through a school shooting. In other countries, it's zero.
Right. And it's because we got a mental health issue. One, we got a cyberbullying issue. And three, it feels like the government is so tied up into what the next country is going to do.
They don't care what's happening in their own country.
And there's not... education should be the highest government, state-funded thing in our country.
Absolutely.
Because
the military, the police, they don't need all this money.
But that's what I'm saying.
If people were more educated, there would be less crime. There would be less reason to go to war. Like
the fundings, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
the funding of education will
would
benefit all the other things that are getting funded.
It would help so much.
Because there's going to be more educated people. That means there's more income coming in here. That's going to solve the economic problem. More jobs. More people having reasonable thinking. Saying, hey, let me think about this. And saying, hey, let me read this headline. Oh, it's true.
We also need, though, like, to make sure we're teaching the right shit in American public schools. There is so much stuff.
The state shouldn't be up to what gets. I don't like that. Because,
I took an Intro to African American Studies class when I was at UB, and I learned way more in that class than I did in all 12 years in American public school. And that was a 3-4 month course, and I learned more than anything ever. And, like, went through and talked about how, like, shit we learned was a lie. Lewis and Clark, they only got that far and did all of that because they had a slave with them who was able to speak to the natives because the natives weren't threatened by him because of his skin. Lewis and Clark, that expedition would not have happened if it weren't for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they don't tell.
They hide it. They hide so much.
Like another thing is
because they don't want. Okay, it's so bad, but you know, racism began as a way to justify slavery, and so for America to seem like they weren't so it's like yes, they know they were wrong with slavery, but to make it seem like they weren't as wrong, they try to make it seem like people of color didn't have any contribution when it's like everything we have is because of them. Like,
Exactly.
honestly.
Yeah, and I think they like exactly what you said. They try to paint this fake world over like our eyes. Like another one of my like problems is when the school system tried to make Christopher Columbus seem like a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
never
then-
understood
and then-
that one.
And then I did some research like into it and found out, the whole story, and he
Yeah, like,
was
when I
not a
was-
hero. He was
when
not a
I
hero.
was like old enough, my nana told me. 'Cause
And,
my nana is Cherokee.
Mhm.
George Washington, the slave owner, like instead of
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and
I didn't
there's
know that.
there's a
yeah, he's a slave. He
what's
was a
it
slave
called?
owner.
There's
He didn't want to give him. He wanted to give him up after he died. That's not enough.
Okay.
No.
There's
Right.
a statue too of George Washington, like kneeling
Monuments,
with the chiefs.
libraries.
Well, and there's one with him, like on Mount
Trees.
Washington, of him with a chief of a native tribe, because Pittsburgh used to be all native land, and you would never tell because of how industrialization and all of that
Mm-hmm.
shit took it over. This used to be all native land, and the only way they honor it is by that one single statue of him with George Washington.
The fact that you are mad at people where your ancestors took this country over. The fact that you're mad at people who never even asked to come over here is
Yeah, like-
ridiculous to me. And then you
It
say
was stolen from
you-
thriving communities.
and you say the
too,
most
like-
unintelligent thing, saying go back to Africa. Meanwhile, our ancestors from Africa, if you told them to go back,
They would have done it in a
went and went back.
heartbeat.
How can we go back if we never been?
Exactly.
But I think ending it there will be nice. Just this. Make sure you do and take more time and researching yourself, doing more research for yourself before you
Due
quick to
diligence.
judge a story, a person, whatever. Because there's a lot
Yeah.
of bullshit going here, and we all know it. And it's sad that nobody can do anything about it because you can't get enough people because there's always a group that's agreeing with the government, which you really shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
You can agree some things, yes. There's some things that is positive.
You got to realize what the media is telling you is not the whole truth.
There's some good officials out there. There's the Ed Gainies of the world, the Summer Lees of the world. There are people like that are on our level that care, but they're not high enough in the power to make the changes, national changes that they want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you're paying the wrong people in power. It's time for change, and it's time for us to get the hell up out of here. So this concludes part 2 of the Off the Benches podcast. Tune in for more because we in the rebranding stage. Because we coming at you bigger, better than ever. Tune into our free agency special and our NFL draft day special coming up soon in the upcoming months.
You want to know what we should do for the NFL draft special is we should do, I guess, like a Zoom call or like a FaceTime call and record it and just like react to each like of the picks and just like post that up.
Okay, I got you.
that could be, or we could just like all watch it together.
Yeah.
That could be easier.
Well,
All right.
well, yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch you later. Make sure you watch us on Apple,
Yeah.
Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I say watch because Spotify now got a video option, so y'all can watch us, not just
Ooh.
listen.
Okay.
I gotta
Uh-huh.
start doing my makeup for this shit then.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at Off the Benches. Is it just Off the
Yeah,
Benches?
it's just
All right.
Off the
I thought it was
Benches.
Off the Benches podcast, but at Off the
Well,
Benches.
did you put it in off the
No,
benches
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
On Instagram, it's off the benches cast.
Yeah, so that's just gonna be all our handles.
We gotta update
so
Twitter
catch us soon
too.
and
Same
TikTok.
thing. I gotta change the
So
link tree.
we'll
Yeah.
let y'all know. All right, peace out.
All right. See ya.